You are listening to the Hiking Radio Network, where we talk the walk with shows by hikers, about hikers, for everybody.
This is the Hammock Hangers Podcast, where we hang out and talk about everything from hammocks and hammock camping to the group hangs from around the country. Hey everyone, welcome to the Hammock Hangers Podcast, where we unwind, relax, and delve into all things hammock related. Join us as we swing into the world of hammocks, exploring tips and tricks for setting up that perfect hang, sharing stories of outdoor adventures, and discovering the latest trends in hammock camping and relaxation. Whether you're a seasoned hammocker or new to the art of hanging, this podcast is your cozy corner to kick back, escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life, and soak in the soothing atmosphere of the hammock culture. Prepare to be inspired, educated, and entertained as we embrace the hammock lifestyle together. So grab your favorite hammock, find that perfect spot to hang, and let's embark on a hammock-filled journey that will leave you feeling refreshed, rejuvenated, and ready to take on the world. This is the Hammock Hangers Podcast, where every episode is a breath of fresh air. Let's get started.
Howdy, hangers. Welcome to this week's episode of the Hammock Hangers Podcast. And we have on today's episode, myself, as well as our friendly neighborhood Skunkape. How you doing, Paul?
What's up, homie? You doing all right? It's been a while since we talked.
It has been a while since we talked. Yeah, we've been gone most of the summer, and signal has been sketchy, and both of us have been extremely busy, and unfortunately for you, I guess my busy has been a little bit more fun and play versus
well,
it's fine.
Been poked and prodded and everything else.
But hopefully,
it still ain't right yet.
Right. I mean, you can make the argument that I'm not either, but it's fine. Yeah. So we've had a lot going on. We've been gone on our summer vacation. Not only that, but I don't know if I announced it on the podcast yet or not, but I did take a teaching position at a new school starting in the next school year. So I've been going through the transition of that, of moving classrooms, and I'll also be teaching
different school?
A different school, yeah.
Oh, no, you hadn't mentioned that. You hadn't even mentioned that to me, much less on the podcast.
Oh, my bad.
That's how long it's been since we've talked.
Wow. I took a teaching position at Crystal River High School, teaching Algebra 1 and geometry. So I am moving on up from the elementary world back to the high school. And I say back to the high school because a lot of people that know me as an elementary school teacher, but actually before I taught, I actually worked for close to 15 years with high school and middle school students before I became a teacher. So really, like, high school is really my first love, I guess. I really do. I'm really, really excited about the new change. And it's not something that I was unhappy with my other school. It just, this opportunity came about, sure. And yeah.
You got more patience than I do. I'd be jumping at it. I'd be jumping away from it, probably.
But then again, you would probably also be running from fifth graders too. So
probably I'd be hiding somewhere. I'm sure.
Yeah, I still say whenever I walk by my wife's classroom and the kindergartners, it just blows my mind to think I did that for 3 years. Yeah, I don't know if I could ever go back. In teaching, at least from my experience, it was a lot easier to move up in grade levels versus down in grade levels. My wife would disagree. She went from fifth grade down to kindergarten, and now they can pretty much pry kindergarten from her cold dead fingers. She loves it. And she's always been a phenomenal teacher no matter where she's at, but she is the quintessential kindergarten teacher.
Y'all are both very special people, sir. Very special people.
Or crazy, one or the other. It's fine.
You said it, not me.
But yeah, so both of us being teachers gives us this opportunity to do our yearly road trip. And we have gotten back from our month-long trip. We had planned on doing a mid-trip recap like we normally do, but like I said, the mid part of our trip was, yeah, it was crazy. The weather was weird, to say the least. As the youngsters now say, Ohio was definitely some skibbity. It was yeah.
What are we using now?
Uh, Ohio.
Well, no, I know that word.
No. Like skibbity, Ohio it's a. Just let me cook. Let me cook.
Okay. You sit there and simmer, buddy.
So, yeah, it was. You think the weather is unpredictable in Florida? It was insanity in Ohio, and I'll get into that when we get into some of our Ohio stops. But
Right.
yeah, the mid trip recap didn't exactly happen, but that's fine. It gives us the chance to sit down, and hopefully, I don't forget too much of our trip. So, I did post pictures on our HangCon and Hammock Hangers podcast Facebook page. I think I might have one more realm of photos to post to be done. But if you'd like to see some of the photos of our trip, please head over to those two social media sites and see some of those pictures. They really were some really great stops. So let's get into it. So our we left on June 8th, and we left because my son had to take his SAT the day before, and we headed out on a Sunday. And our first stop, when we do our traveling, we like, because we are pulling our pop up, we do try to kind of limit our driving between somewhere from 4 to 8 hours.
Okay.
That kind of gives everybody kind of a decent trip, not something crazy long of the day. But our very first day was probably like 8.5 or something like that. It was a good little drive, and it was at Sesqui State Park, which is a site that our Palmetto friends will be very well accompanied with. That's why they do the Palmetto camp out. And
the sesquicentennial.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had never stayed there, but gosh, Paul, it was. I don't know exactly where they do some of their hangs there, but it was a very nice park.
Yeah.
The sites were relatively large. They were pretty shaded for the most part. And yeah, the weather wasn't too bad at that point. It did rain on us, which is pretty a common theme for this summer as well as last summer, but nothing any craziness that came through. But yeah, so the reason we stopped at Sesqui is our very first national park that we went to was going to be Congaree, which is rated as the worst national park in the country. Usually,
why is this?
It gets a bad rap. Like I'll go into, because it's kind of like a swamp. Like if you look at it at face value, it's like it's a swamp.
So is Florida.
I mean, there's that. Exactly. 100%. But I will say, for me, I actually really did enjoy Congaree. It was, so the whole area is really known for having these really massive, tall trees as far as the East Coast standards go.
Okay.
And they do. It's really cool. There are some stupid tall trees in the park. And there's kind of this boardwalk that kind of walks through the camp, through the national park, and you just kind of like walk through the swamp. And the one thing that I thoroughly loved about Congaree was it was quiet, because they were like, "Oh, Congaree is like so boring," but it was hardly anybody there. And if you've been to some of the national parks like Yellowstone or some of the other, big name parks.
Right.
It's the people like really hinder the experience for me. But the weather wasn't too dreadfully hot. It was a little buggy, but not, again, we live in Florida. So it wasn't anything, that bar was set pretty high anyway. But it was really, really, really quiet. And it was just a nice little walk through the woods / swamp. We got to see some really cool things. The trees were really cool to see, and just kind of the water shelf there. It did make for some really nice, just quiet stream. It was very meditative, and it was quiet. The visitor center there was really, really nice. It's relatively new, I think. And yeah, though I don't understand the hate that Congaree gets, because I would definitely take that. Also, the walkway that goes through the national park is shaded, so even though it was relatively warm, not muggy, but it was warm, you didn't have any direct sunlight hitting you, so that made things a lot more tolerable. I wouldn't say there's any like wow sights like you would see, out west at Rocky Mountain or in California, but just the overall vibe of the park, I kind of liked it.
I like the quiet places better myself too.
It was.
Especially when you go on vacation. That's what I'm doing. I'm going on vacation to get away from all this. That's why I don't do Disney. That's why I don't do the beach. That's why I don't, do any of the amusement parks or anything like that. I like the peace and quiet.
Now, we did choose to stay at Sesqui instead of in the national park, because the Congaree National Park, they do have campsites there, but they are all primitive backpacking sites, and they are really a first come, first serve. So
gotcha.
Our pop-up, that really wouldn't have worked. And with it being summer in the South, it's not really my bag.
Yeah, so, there is that.
But I will say, Congaree for me definitely is one of those one and done national parks. If you're looking to go and hit a national park and see something, definitely go check out Congaree. Just quell your expectations. You're not going to see something that's going to blow you away, but it was a really nice, peaceful walk through the woods. It would definitely not rank as my least favorite national park that I've been to.
Gotcha. No, that was y'all's first stop, right?
That was our first stop. I actually was able to hang in trees this time. I was using my Dutchware Quilted Chameleon in this first stop, because it was the first hammock that I could grab in my little hammock box that I have, and just threw it up because I was trying to avoid the rain. Threw up, and I was using my hammock gear, 40-degree top quilt that I have had forever. It is kind of like my beater set that I can just take, and especially in the summer, it's a 40-degree, but it's like 12 years old, so the down has not really gotten the loft that it has. But hey, for summer, it is perfect, and it takes a licking and keeps on ticking. And I was using, let me think, I was using my War Bonnet mini fly for my tarp, and that kept me dry, and it was all well and good. And so that's our first stop. It was a really great site for us. Now, fast forward, we only stayed there 2 nights just to give us a day in Congaree, and then we headed off to our country's newest national park, which is New River Gorge National Park. Now, I had not been to this particular location to stay. I've driven through it, but I had not been to it since it got the acclaimed national park title.
Now, which state is that in?
It's in West Virginia. So we, for those of you who don't know, Congaree is in South Carolina, and we went from there to Bear Mountain Campground, which is just outside of New River Gorge National Park. Okay. Now, New River Gorge,
every time I hear you or somebody else talk about that gorge there, I always think it's the one up there in North Georgia, up there near Clayton and Dillard area.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of the name off the top of my head. But so the thing with the New River Gorge National Park is they don't have any campgrounds in the national park.
Gotcha.
I want to say that they only became a national park in, oh Lord, it's been within the last 10 years, I believe. So that hasn't necessarily been established yet. However, there are no shortage of camping options in private campgrounds very close to the national park. In fact, the one that we stayed at was probably less than 5 miles from the visitor center and kind of the main road that goes through the camp. It's
Right.
a very long national park, and it has feels of like Shenandoah, which is probably, as far as the East Coast goes, probably my favorite national park on the East Coast that I've been to. And it's definitely a park that I would go back to. The views, it's not a lot. We didn't hit a lot of like hiking trails there, just because we only stayed 3 nights. But there are some longer trails available. There are a few driving trails and bike trails in that area that we used to explore the park, and it was absolutely stunning. In the summer, I can only imagine what it would be in the fall. Just smack dab beautiful. Where we had our campground, there was really easy accessible to the town that was near us in Fayetteville, West Virginia. Really cool little town. There's a lot of like really neat shops. There was I think a coffee place that we went to that was really good. There was a pizza place that had pretty good pizza. And it was just a cool little town. Yeah. So from at that location, I actually used one of my new pieces of gear that I'm really excited about. That I was really excited about for this trip, and it really, really delivered. So right before we left, I got a turtle bug stand from Yobo to take on the trip. However, this particular one was designed and set up for a bridge hammock. So
okay,
the setup is a little bit different. It's a little bit smaller. The poles are a little bit shorter. I think the top rail is only 7 segments instead of the 8. And I had not realized that since I'd gotten my quilted chameleons, I had not slept in a bridge in probably over a year. And going back to a bridge was really, really great. I'm going to wait and talk about, kind of my thoughts on the Turtlebug Bridge Edition to the end, but let's just say I was super impressed. So yeah, second stop was a success. We actually paired up with my in-laws. They were kind of traveling around there as well. So now, New River Gorge, I would say, hey, if you're going to look at this particular place, I would definitely say set at least 3 or more days for this particular trip. And I will most definitely be going back to this national park to maybe hit up some of the trails that we went to. There were beautiful waterfalls. We did the Endless Wall Trail. We saw the Gorge Bridge. It was really, really cool. Very, very unique experience just to seeing the architecture of the bridge. And when you're there, it really blows your mind just how high that bridge is above the gorge. So, but yeah.
Is that the one?
Have you ever been to that way, Paul?
No, not up that way. That's why I every time you would post pictures, I follow your pictures. Yeah, I mean, y'all always go so many different places that I've never been, which I think is pretty neat. So I kind of
Does
travel
the
with
AT
you.
at all run through West Virginia at all?
The AT through West Virginia, very short distance.
Oh, okay. I know it's kind of like right there, and West Virginia is kind of like a weirdly shaped state.
Yeah, very very short distance through Harper's Ferry
Okay, gotcha.
area.
So yeah, we stayed 3 nights there, and then we headed off to our third location, which was Hocking Hill State Park. Now, I've been to a lot of national parks. I've been to a lot of like really cool state parks. As far as state parks go, Hocking Hills like rivals some of the well, actually a lot of the national parks that I've been to. It was absolutely stunning. We stayed at the state park has a campground there. It was very like, good sized campground. Originally, when we drove through, I'm like, oh, this is not really that big. But then when we started driving through some of the other roads, like, oh wow, this actually campground really is sprawled out. The campsites have water. Campsites have electric. They have a dump station. They have a pool. They have a few really nice playgrounds there. It's a legit nice campground, and they charge you state park prices and not like KOA prices, which is always beneficial when you're camping on a budget.
Right.
I was really excited about the campground because for the very first time, I saw not just another real hammock camper at the campground. They were in a hive stand.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool deal.
And so, to the chagrin of my children, we were driving around and I saw this hive and I almost like slammed on the brakes. I was like, what? Like, this is so cool. So I actually got it and I went and talked to the guy. I was like, hey, can I take your picture? I have two people that would really like to see this. So I took a picture and I sent it to Cal and Kristen and just say, hey.
You did tell the guy who you were sending it to and stuff like that, right?
I did.
Okay. That way
I told him about our podcast.
Creeper.
Yeah. And I told him about our podcast. I told him about HangCon. And they actually live not too far from our next stop that we went to. And they were just down for Father's Day. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But Hocking Hill. All right. So the actual state park. Now, I will preface this by saying it is absolutely stunning. The really good thing about Hocking Hill State Park is all of your wow factors are very easily accessible. The bad part about that is all of your wow factors are so easily accessible. It was a lot of people. Now, full disclosure, we went and did some of the hikes through the main area of this kind of like, if you remember our pictures from Flume Gorge last summer in Franconia Notch State Park, that area, it was like Flume Gorge on crack. It was just massive. The water cutting through the cavern, and it was kind of like maybe this is a bad analogy, but it was kind of like a moist Zion National Park. Okay, maybe that was a bad one.
I love your analogies.
But just like the way that the caverns like curved and the cutting of the water, yes, erosion, but it was just really cool. But there were a lot of people. Like, it was a stream. We were in a stream of people walking through there, and there were just a lot of people that were just aimlessly letting their children scream, and that's a trigger for me as a teacher. Like I just like
It's a trigger for me. I'm not a teacher.
It's like,
Look, that's why I tell y'all that you and your wife and every other teacher out there is a special type of person, because I couldn't do that crap. I can't do it not being a teacher.
It would be one thing if like the screams were like kids like having fun or
having fun, yes.
Or if they were hurt. I mean, maybe you don't want to give, but having a reason. But no, they were just screaming, and I was just like, I can't. And also, like, it annoys me a little bit. I'm sure there's people laughing at me when I say this, but there are signs posted everywhere. Stay on the trail. Do not get in. No swimming allowed. Don't get in the water. Da da da. And
I'm sure you saw plenty of people in the water.
Plenty. And they were just messing up like sites. And this is my old man get off my lawn kind of rant. But like leave no trace. And I think I would love to have a conversation with like Rob Pelton. I know we've had him on our podcast before, but he's since like gone in to do more like leave no trace camp leave no trace camp training. And I was listening to his episode that he did with Chad with UGQ. Shout out to their podcast as well. And I was just really amazed with just some of the things that, that me as a seasoned hiker, I'm a seasoned camper, just would have never thought about, like, as far as like leave no trace, like getting in the water, just the sunscreen or the bug repellent that we put on our skin, like gets in that water. And, that's not a natural thing. So it really does disturb the ecosystem when you're talking about thousands of people going through there on a daily basis. Traipsing in God knows what from some 7-Eleven gas station bathroom. And
that's what aggravates me the most is, especially when they put up signs and then people are still ignorant to just, doing what they want and whatever they want to do because of entitlement or whatever it is, entitlement or stupidity. I'll go with either one of those.
Yes, the answer to that is yes. At that point, you're just like, come on, Bears.
Right. Here, let's go down to Florida and jump in the lakes that say no swimming. Let's go.
Natural consequences. But no, it was a really cool park. We did on Father's Day, we found some more lesser known locations, and we did leave a lot earlier in the day. So, it was just some really cool side quests that we went through. Some of the places that we were hanging or heading out to, hiking out to, weren't really like, oh my gosh, amazing. But just the walk through the woods was just, it was just a nice stroll through the woods. We went to a few waterfalls. We went to some caves that were there. Hearing some of the stories that revolve around the history of the caves. And, I'll, as far as next year goes, I don't teach science anymore, but, for 10 years, I taught science, and seeing that erosion. And when you see like the layers and layers of rock, you're like, oh my gosh, when you look at that, it really is a timeline over millions of years that, I wish more people would take maybe attention to. It's just really, really cool. But not only that, Hocking Hill, the area around there, it was kind of in the middle of nowhere. There wasn't a lot of things super close. We did go to a winery there that was really quiet until we got there, and then apparently we brought everybody else. But really good beer, really good wine, and yeah, they had a lot of games and stuff for the kids to play too. It was good. And there we stayed 4 nights in Hocking Hill. So if you're planning a trip, I would definitely say Hocking Hill State Park. If you're in Ohio, this is in central Ohio, definitely make Hocking Hill State Park one of your stops, because if nothing else, to go through the main area, it is absolutely like Old Man's Cave, which is an actual area that we somehow skipped in our little trek through. But that area, it really is pretty, and something that I would strongly encourage you to see at least once. And yeah, I definitely would go back to Hocking Hill. If I was doing some of the main treks, I would make sure that I got up super early to kind of beat the crowds, because yeah, everything is super easily accessible, but that means you're going to find everybody there. So just take notice. So our next stop, which we only stayed 2 nights, was in Silver Springs campground, which was a county park in Stowe, Ohio. And we stayed here because our goal was to go see Cuyahoga Valley National Parks. And this is where our trip got interesting. Let's start about talking about the national park. So Cuyahoga National Park, it was interesting. I think overall it's kind of one of those one and done kind of national parks. Probably one of the coolest things that they do have going through it. They have an old rail trail that kind of runs through the park. Or it's a towpath, like a paved towpath that the Erie Canal kind of came through, and they used to like troll like towboats through there to carry goods from one side to the other.
Okay.
And there's a paved bike trail that we actually rode maybe like 11 miles, maybe about like 14 miles of it in the pouring down rain. That wasn't initially our plan, but as you'll see here shortly, maybe about 6 of it was really pouring down rain. But it's right on, very, very close to one of the Great Lakes. We actually didn't drive up to see the Great Lakes, but just going around, we went and saw one of the waterfalls that was there. I'm trying to think what it was. It starts with a B. I forget what it was, but that was really cool. The ride through the national park was good. I really did like the location that we were camping at. I didn't have trees to set up on because, well, they didn't have a lot of trees on the site. However, I had my turtle bug stand with my bridge that I had set up to go. Now, weather in Ohio.
Is this a story? Is this a story I already know about?
Yeah, this is the story you don't know about.
Okay.
So we were finding a lot of weather apps that we normally use and have really good success with predicting, at least of the day that we are there. Hey, we're probably going to get rain at like 2:00 in the afternoon. So, we can go out in the morning and we'll be fine. It says that it should be done by dinner time so we can cook outside. We have a game plan, this and the other. No, Paul. No. Ohio was like, hey, 2% chance of rain in 1 hour. You could literally check the radar in like 15 minutes. That 2% has gone to like 96%. And it was
laugh, but
insane. Well, not only that, like when you're planning for rain, like say, okay, well, we can't cook outside now because of this, or we can't do this in the morning because it's supposed to have rain. No, that rain would never come. So some of the things that we had pushed off, yeah,
right.
We totally could have done because, yeah, that rain never came until it wasn't supposed to be there and we had something planned, and then we go. So there was that. So now, probably the day before we were supposed to leave, again, rain was not in the forecast, at least not at all to this point. So I said, hey, I'm going to go check out some of the coffee shops around the area. I saw a few like good ones. So I'm going to go and do that. While I am gone, again, no rain in the forecast. I get a little blip on my phone. Tornado warning. Not a watch. No, full on warning for like the Iron Tide. Like,
and this is why you were gone.
Yeah, this is while I was gone.
Okay, was it just you gone, or did?
Yeah, it was just me.
So Donnie and the kids are still back there.
Dawn and the kids are still in the pop-up. I see this notification on my phone come up. Literally like 2 seconds later, my wife calls me. She's like, hey, we're in a tornado warning. And yeah, it's crazy. So I'm like, okay. So I got my coffee and it's like, I'm like 5 minutes from the campsite. I go and I look at I get there. I don't have time to like pack anything down because again, like the wind is crazy whipping through. It is like pouring, like bucket, like sheets are just pelting the campground. And so I go and I check out. There was a small quell in the rain, and I go check my stand because I had actually texted Cal not too far ahead of that, maybe a day or two later, or a day or two before, and said, "Hey, just for my knowledge, what would you suggest is the very best way to anchor the trail bug?" Because again, I learned this through that course. Ohio totally is in the tornado alley.
Really?
It is.
Huh. Okay.
I the more you know, which was also to me because something else that we would see a lot as we were driving through either towns or even we saw it in Cuyahoga and we saw it in Hocking Hill too. I was like, gosh, did they have like some crazy storm like come through? Because we were seeing like very large, what seemingly looked like healthy trees just ripped and thrown somewhere. And I was like, I don't remember like a massive like front coming through or anything.
Right.
There were like some big honking trees like just ripped out of the ground. And
that's nuts.
It blew my mind. And so I went and I checked my stand and I had the Yobo's really big ground anchors driven like down into the dirt. Now, it had like been raining for like 3 or so days off and on. So unfortunately the rain had maybe like saturated the ground, but dude, I had those stakes driven into the ground as much as I could. And when they were there, they weren't going anywhere. I'm like, okay, all right, I don't have time to take it down, but this is what I'm going to, because we have to go. We have to leave our campsite and we're going to go down to the bathhouse, which was kind of like over the hill, but there wasn't a direct road to that. You had to kind of leave the park and drive, a little bit down the road and then back to the backside of the park. It was some cattywampus way of getting back there. So we did that. We go to the bathhouse because that is the most solid structure in a tornado warning. It's fine. I don't think this is our first time in a tornado warning to this extent. We have had some tornado watches in our past, but like a tornado warning. Oh yeah, Pikes Peak. A few years ago, we had a tornado like touchdown, maybe like a couple miles from our campground. That was fun too. But this was crazier as far as the weather goes. This was crazier. So we get down to the bathhouse, which is this concrete building, and then the tornado sirens just start blaring. Well, I don't know if they're tornado sirens, but kind of like the lightning sirens that you see at like ballparks, because but them suckers were just like blaring, and the wind is howling, and the waves of rain are crashing into the side. Like it's a wild ride. It is a wild ride, and I think we were down there maybe 30, 45 minutes, just kind of hanging out, just seeing, what is this sucker going to do?
Right.
Wishing, hoping, praying, all the things. And so then it finally quelled down, and we got this beautiful full scale rainbow, like from looking from the bathhouse back into the campground, this huge rainbow. And it was like, okay, all right, so we're good. So we get in our truck and we go back up to the campground, and we kind of settle in, and we're good. We're good, right, Paul? Because rain is supposed to be done.
I mean, it's a little bit of rain.
A little bit of rain. It's fine.
What's to worry about?
And the turtle bug stand was fine, and we were good. Fast forward 2 hours later, we hit tornado warning a number 2.
A second time?
A second one. Another one. Just it was this huge, massive wave of storms. And I know I took a picture of like the radar and posted it on our Facebook page.
Right.
This massive wave of storms, and they came up like really, really quick. And the tornado warning just like boom hit us, and we're like, all right, we gotta go again, check the stands and everything in here. This time, again, we're getting wind, like crazy wind, like, and it's also pitch black dark. It's like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, so you can't see squat. The wind is coming. You can see the waves of wind. And it's coming in all different ways, wind howling. And so again, I didn't have time to like take anything down. We had to say, get in the truck, and we just like go, which was also a fun thing because, we're at a pop-up. Like, what is a pop-up going to do? I mean, it's a little bit more than a tent, but, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, in a tornado, like a house is not really going to be too much different. But
right.
It was a wild ride. And so we wait out at the bathhouse again. And I think that was the scariest part about this was it was nighttime. So it was you could.
Yeah, those are always the scariest because you can't see what's going on. I mean, unless there's lightning, and then you get glimpses. But
yeah,
that just makes
and
sense.
because we were in the concrete building, our cell phone signal wasn't super great. So we couldn't really necessarily check everything as fast as we would have liked to.
Right.
So that ignorance was kind of like an issue. But probably another like 20, 30 minutes there, we go back to the campground. The pop-up is fine. Yeah, the turtle bug, well, 90% of the turtle bug is perfectly fine. However, what I think happened was the ground, because it was so saturated,
right?
One of the stakes, gave way, and I had my tarp on it, so it just like picked up like a sail and like body slammed it into the ground. And I think like one of the tarp, where the tarp poles connects to the hub, like ripped out through the bar attachment. And with that, when that happened, the sharp metal from the broken thing, that tore a good little hole in my Dutchware wide bonded 12-foot winter tarp that I'd been using. Tore a big old hole in that. Also, it was essentially like maybe 30, 40 feet away from where I had it set up. So it also drug it through like some briars and stuff like that, because I end up like poking out some briars from the tarp too. And Paul, I think I'm just not destined to have a Dutchware wide winter tarp, because
it's not the first one that's gotten.
It's not the first
taken out,
huh? Which was kind of sad, because like that was the tarp that Dawn really, really likes. That's the one that we took to Denmark.
Oh, is that the big one that you took to Denmark?
Yes, that's the big one that we took to Denmark, that has the double pole mods and stuff like that. And like it was great, but yeah.
Well,
so yeah.
The bigger the tarp, the bigger the parachute.
Yeah, I was really bummed about that, but luckily, my bridge hammock that was on there, the Ridge Runner, was perfectly fine. My quilts were soaking wet, which that's the reason I was at the laundromat when we were chatting with Christian, because I was drying my quilts, and that was fun. That was fun. Not really. But I mean, it was kind of the first experience that I had with like down gear getting wet in the middle of a trip. And I can freely tell everyone that taking them to a laundromat, throwing them in one of the dryers. Luckily, I found like 2 tennis balls that I happen to have in my truck. Yay to being a tennis player. Random knowledge. I threw 2 tennis balls in there with my quilts. I put it on like super delicate, like no heat, and they were dry within, I want to say I put them in for like 40 minutes or something like that. Completely bone dry. I didn't lose any down, and I was using them later on in the trip. Well, at least the top quilt. So, but yeah, weather in Ohio was crazy. It was crazy, and unfortunately, it caused a gear failure as well. So, but yeah, so that was Cuyahoga National Park. I would say if you were going to Cuyahoga National Park, they do have some campgrounds in the national parks, but we chose not to stay in them just because, well, for one, the weather was supposed to be hot as well, and I leave Florida to not be in the hot, so we wanted AC. It was just going to be better for everybody's mental health.
Y'all were gone again during the hottest days, right?
Yeah, they had another like
when that major heat wave came through.
Yes, that tends to also be a lingering effect from last summer, because when we were in Franconia Notch, we did not get to do the Franconia Loop because it was like
of the heat,
the hottest week in like 30 years or something like that. But yes, there was a lot of rain, but it was also like heat too. But I would say like it was never like super muggy like it gets here in the summer. So that was pleasant. So like during the day, it was like, it was hot. Like there was no getting over that. It was hot. But at night, it wasn't too bad. So, but yeah. So that was our second to last stop. Second to last national park. So we left Cuyahoga National Park, and we made a stop at John Bryan State Park, which is in Yellow Springs, Ohio. That's where I went to the laundromat. Really, really cool little town. Stopped at 2 breweries there, had some really good beer. And John Bryan State Park has some pretty cool stuff in that state park too. We obviously didn't get to see it because it was just kind of like a transition stop for us, but I would definitely go back there. Campground was nice. Not a lot of trees, but again, didn't really affect me because I had a stand that I was using. So, yeah. And from that point, luckily, I did have my other turtle bug with me as well. So I had a backup plan because obviously I wasn't backpacking. So I just, as long as it fit in my little tote, I brought 2 stands and 2 setups. So I had gear to hang. So I was not left in the cold or in the hot, wet, muggy outside. But and so our next stop was Horse Cave K-Away. And we stayed there in order to see Mammoth Cave National Park in Kentucky. Now, fun little fact about our K-Away, it was like right on the time change line between Central and Eastern time zone. So depending on where you stood in the campground, you were either on the Eastern time zone or you were an hour earlier in the Central time zone. So that made life really, really difficult when we were talking about like, hey, when does this place close? Is it Central time or is it Eastern time. And yeah, this was not.
Yeah, how did that work? Because you got to be out of there at a certain time. Did it
Yeah. We're usually out.
Did it depend on which side the office was on?
I don't know. I think it was more of like, I think the park itself was technically in Central Time. However, maybe the cell phone towers that were picking up, that our cell phones were picking up, could have bounced back and forth between Central and Eastern. So we never knew what time it was. It was crazy. Now, the KOA that we stayed at, it was a KOA. Like, bathrooms were super nice, but our site was flat, gravel, parking lot on the side of a hill. Y'all know how I feel about KOAs. They're kind of a necessary evil in some cases. There weren't. I think Mammoth Cave does have some campgrounds there. I think they were all full, actually. But again, usually your national park campgrounds do not have electric. So camping in the summer, and you're still not quite in elevation like you would be out west. So the heat is a factor. So we opted for a KOA, and it worked. It wasn't anything special. But again, usually with your KOAs, they do have great facilities. There was things for the kids to do. They had a big bounce pad. They had a huge mini golf thing that they were doing that I don't think our kids ever did any of the mini golf. One of our kids really likes mini golf, and the other one, well, they really do not, because they get really competitive and they get really frustrated. So we have to tread lightly with the mini golf.
Now I'm trying to figure out which one that would be.
Oh yeah, there's one of them that like vehemently hates mini golf unless you don't keep score and you don't talk about how bad they're doing. Yeah. Like full on meltdown. Yeah, it's fine.
Older or younger?
Younger.
Okay, that would have been my first guess, but then I was like, I don't know. Okay,
so,
yeah.
We did have another kind of big gear failure. I don't know exactly when it happened, but not my gear, but unfortunately my son's bike derailleur broke in half. I don't know exactly what happened with
bike
it, but
derailleur.
So where kind of like the little arm that gets attached to your rear wheel and the gears, it helps change your gear that you're in.
Yeah.
It broke in half, like metal. How? Santa? I don't know. Tooth fairy? It just broke. It just, and so it was kind of bummed for him because he really likes riding his bike, and he does the mountain biking and stuff, and he was really without a bike for essentially the rest of the trip. He would ride my wife's bike, to go to and from, and he would kind of muscle through riding my daughter's bike, which my daughter is also totally outgrown. Everybody in our house apparently needs new bikes because we're at that stage. We just don't do a lot of bike riding as much as we should. And, I've got my trike, but I didn't bring that. I just have a little hybrid that I brought for me, but yeah, so that was kind of stinky. I did not hammock camp at this KOA. I stayed in the camper and in the air condition and slept inside, and I slept absolutely horrible, but I was cool. But every night that I chose to sleep in the camper, I don't know, and it's not necessarily something that usually affects me, but gosh, man, I could not get comfortable in the camper this trip for some reason. But yeah, so now Mammoth Cave National Park. There was surprisingly a significant amount of people there than I would have expected. We went to Wind Cave National Park in Colorado, South Dakota. Oh, South Dakota. Wind Cave. So I'm thinking, they're both caves. The national park. Mammoth Cave was crazy with people. We had to park in like this far overflow lot. It was they had a lot going on. There was a significant amount more there than I thought would be. We kind of did the main tour of everything. The caverns in the cave were really, really huge. They weren't like wow, like beautiful, this and the other. They were just massive. And you can just like visualize just what would have to happen to go into those to create all of those things. But yeah, they were massive. But I would say as far as a ranking goes, like that Mammoth Cave is a one and done for me. Like it was cool. It was really nice because inside the cave it was like 52 degrees. So that was really nice. Like that was the best part. It was cool because outside it was like 90 or something like that. Because again, they were still going through that kind of heat wave going through when we were in that area. But in the caves, it was like 52 degrees. And even when you're walking down into the caves, just because of the way the wind comes through the caves, it was like a natural air conditioning. Like you could feel it just blowing on you. It was really, really, that was really, really cool. But I would say schedule a day if you're really into like doing some of like the spelunking or trying to see a lot more of the caves and just like the main area to do some of the tours. Maybe 2 days if you're really pushing it, but yeah, 1 or 2 days you should be good for Mammoth Cave.
Gotcha.
So, and our final national park that we stopped at was Great Smoky Mountains National Park, which is massive. It is a huge national park, and we've camped here before. We chose to stay on the quote unquote quieter side of the park, away from kind of like your big attractions. So the northwestern part of the park near Townsend. So west of like Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, it was really quiet. It was like on the river. You weren't in the mountains like you would be if you were in like the Smokemont or there's another campground that's big in there, Smokemont and Elkmont. And I think there's also a campground at Caves Cove as well. Again, we chose to not stay in those parks because, well, for one, I don't think you could get reservations. They're very popular campgrounds to stay at. So when we were there, we went through Caves Cove. We did stay at another KOA just because that's the only place we could find that had what we needed. However, this was a very well-established KOA, and with the exception of the roads being a little wonky with pulling a camper and stuff,
right?
Our campsite was super shaded, which was great because it kept a lot of the rain that we continued to get while we were there. And it kept the camper a lot cooler than it normally would be. It also allowed me to kind of set up my tarp to see kind of just what the extent of the damage was. I'm pretty sure the tarp is going to be complete loss. I thought I could I'll just like patch the hole and I'll be fine. But there's so many like little holes from like the briars and stuff that I don't know. I don't think it's salvageable, which really bums me out. But yeah. So have you ever been to Smoky Mountain National Park?
Yeah. Yeah, the AT goes to Smoky Mountain.
Yeah, the AT. Yeah. There. So
you confused me for a second. So hold on. Is he talking about someone? Yeah.
Yeah, that's Smoky Mountain. That's Smoky Mountain. Yeah. So all right. So let me ask, what is your impression of the Smokies?
I liked them. I mean, of course, the only part that I was on was the AT part. So, I mean, I don't know about all the others. I mean, I know there's, 900 something miles worth of trail just through the Smokies.
It's crazy. Yeah, the trail system in the Smokies is insane. I'm going to go unpopular opinion. I'm not a huge fan of Great Smoky Mountains National Park.
No? Why's that? I mean, to be honest with you, I was when I went through it, I was only in there for just a few days because I want to say the AT goes. I want to say it's like 90 miles. I do believe through it.
Yeah, that sounds about
So
right.
I might have been in there, what, 5-6 days.
All right. In context, Smoky Mountain National Park is the most popular park in the country.
Yeah.
Because it's the location and that. But man, I don't know. I've never been blown away with anything in the Smokies to say, oh man, I would take the Smokies over Shenandoah, or I would take the Smokies.
I wouldn't either. I mean, to be honest, I like Shenandoah better than I did the Smokies. Hiking through, but I mean, I didn't think the Smokies were bad, but again, I mean, I wasn't there on vacation.
Yeah.
Per se. I mean, I was my job at the time was to walk through the Smokies. So
and like we've stayed at like a few different places within Smoky Mountains National Park. We've stayed in Davidson River.
Right.
That's not in the Smoky. It's not in Smoky Mountain National Park, but it's in the Smokies. Like a really cool area. Like really pretty. We stayed at Smokemont. That was just a bad experience, and Dawn rolls her eyes when I talk about Smokemont, but it was just it was the last trip that I was hammock camping, but it was the last trip that I think that we took before we got the pop up, so they were still in the tent, and yeah, it was during COVID, and we were there. There was like this big family reunion that was happening there. The bathrooms were utterly the most disgusting bathrooms that I believe I've ever been to in a national park. Because even the minute after they were cleaned, they already smelled like urine.
Yeah,
like visceral, like thick, oily, just urine smell. That'll be a core memory for me. I will never forget those particular things. But yeah. But the areas around the Smoky Mountains are really cool. I'm just not necessarily blown away with.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that I was blown away by them, but I mean, again, I didn't see a whole lot of them other than a trail.
Yeah. So we drove through the national park as we were leaving, but we also drove through Cades Cove, which was this kind of this farming community that was in that particular area. There's a lot of like houses that are still there. There's two or three churches that are still in the area that were established, 150 years ago,
right,
or more. That was kind of like cool to drive through, but again, there were a lot of people. It was a stream of cars. Like, again, Smoky Mountains is the most popular park in the country.
Right.
We did see a bear in Smokies. I don't think we were in the national park, but we were driving. Maybe we were like right on the edge. Well, we were driving through to Pigeon Forge, or maybe we were just driving around. Just seeing things. And there was a bear, like literally climbing up the hill right beside the road. Like if we would have come through like 5 seconds later, we wouldn't have seen it.
Right.
And he was he was maybe 10 feet away from the truck climbing up. And so we watched him climb all the way through and, scatter off into the woods. But we got really, really close.
Did y'all see any elk?
We did not see any elk. We did see a few deer, which seeing deer in the wilderness is a very different experience for me versus my family. Again, like growing up in Virginia, seeing deer while you're driving is not a pleasant experience. They're like nature's heat-seeking missiles.
Yes.
When they come to it's
take off down Highway 19 late at night through Umatilla.
Yeah. I mean,
Go to the forest.
so
You,
like when
you see a deer on the side of the road, you just cringe because you're just hoping and praying that he's not going to go stupid on you and take off in front of you.
well, there's that. Yeah, when they see deer, I'm just like, yeah, you stay over there. You stay way over there. Um,
You start blowing your car horn like a blame idiot.
yeah.
Try and scare them.
Yeah, so we saw deer, we saw bear. We didn't see any snakes while we were there, which was I'm fine with. I stopped at like a little really cool like grocery stores and stuff because again, you're in small town USA, so you're not getting. We saw IGAs, which are these like little podunk little grocery stores. But yeah, it was fun.
I think I know what store you're talking about. I think I'd actually done some shopping in some of them to do resupply.
Oh, I guarantee you did. I guarantee you. They're like the grocery store equivalent of like a rundown Dollar General.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I mean, the people were nice, and they were good for what they were. They didn't have a lot of selection, which that's fine too. It actually kind of reminded me of maybe some of the smaller grocery stores that we saw in Denmark.
Gotcha.
Other than I could read the packaging, but
without Google Translate,
the food didn't look quite as fresh, but along the same line. So our Denmarkian friends would be very well at home at an IGA grocery store.
Nice.
So that was kind of our last national park. We did have one extra stop that we stopped at. We stopped in Chattooga Lodge and Campground, and we visited our good friend Jason and the Walhalla hammocks and outdoors hang that he had. Unfortunately, we couldn't stay for the duration of the trip. We were at a stage in our trip where we needed to be home.
That was the Who Hang, right?
Yeah, that was the Who Hang. We stayed there, and I think we caught the beginning of it. We stayed there from Thursday, and we left on Monday. And I guess there was a lot of people coming in a little bit closer to the 4th of July, but we were really glad that we got to stop there and see them.
Right.
I was able to hang my family. They actually stayed in the lodge. They were done with the weather. The weather, like, really, after being rained on like so many times, and again they were calling for like some crazy storms coming through there, and with 2 tornado warnings in a row, I think a lot of us were kind of like gun shy of like really crazy storms from then on. So they actually stayed in the lodge, and I was hanging out. But that whole area was crazy cool.
Just you get. I know you don't normally listen to these episodes, but you do need to go back and listen to this one, just to that, at least that little part that you just said, because you was talking about the Who Hang, and I'm going to leave it in there. I'm not going to edit it out. You're talking about, being at the Who Hang and you couldn't stay because you was at a part in your trip that y'all were all ready to get back home and everything else. And you kind of ran all your words together. You said, but at least I was able to hang my family. You kind of ran it all together. So,
yeah.
Little pauses and words.
I mean, it may have been a Freudian slip. They may have felt the exact same way about me as well.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
I guarantee. Yeah,
I'm sure if we got Dawn on right now and I asked her, then yeah.
So that was our last little thing, and I just want to say shout out to Jason Flowers from Walhalla Outdoor Gear. Makes some really great gear, makes some crazy awesome bags and hammocks and tarps for putting on that hang. Again, as someone who puts on hangs, we understand how much hard work that it goes into that. So Jason, we thoroughly appreciate all that you do, not just for that hang, but just the hammock community in general. Walhalla Outdoor Hammocks and Outdoors, great supporter of HangCon, and Jason is like one of my favorite people in the hammock community. Super great guy. He would be part of my hammock, top 8. And if you know that reference, you should probably get a colonoscopy. You've hit that age. If you understand that reference. Yeah.
Oh Lord.
I was that somebody was telling me we are now closer to the year 2050 than we are to 2000. It's fine, Paul. This is fine. Everything's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, especially considering I was born in 75.
Yeah.
I mean, you just made me feel freaking ancient, dude. Appreciate it.
So let's talk about some of the gear that I use. Now, I talk about the turtle turtle bug with the bridge mod. Now, really great stand. I'm gonna probably make I am gonna make a video talking about some of the ways that I like the stand. I will say, if you are a bridge hammock camper, this is a piece of gear you absolutely need to have. It actually makes the bridge hammock better than what it normally is. You can use an 11-foot tarp easily within it. The stand mods actually replaces your spreader bars that you have on your hammock, so it's one less piece of the hammock that you need to bring. It sets up, has a very small footprint, actually a smaller footprint than the actual regular size turtle bug camper, and it made me realize just how much I miss sleeping in a bridge hammock. As much as I do love my quilted chameleon, man, I love sleeping in a bridge. I really love sleeping in a bridge. I was really devastated that because of the tarp pole, I couldn't really use the stand because the bridge poles that come out for the tarp are like two sections instead of one, because you have to
Right.
pull out your tarp. But man, I was really bummed that I couldn't use it. So I'll be making a video on actually all three of these pieces of gear. But my second piece is a piece that I thought that I would not like or not enjoy. But since I've gotten it, I've used it so much, not just camping, but I've actually used it in my normal everyday life. It is my Red Paw Packs hip pack, or my Red Paw fanny pack. I got one in HangCon Europe, and I didn't think I would like it. I'm not a fanny pack person. In fact, I make fun of my son for bringing his. I call it his adventure sack, and I was like, "No,
You're so mean.
This is stupid."
You know,
like,
you spread it that I'm the mean one. Okay.
Yeah, I can be a jerk.
You
It's okay.
use other words. It's not me, sir. That's not me.
So the Red Paw pack I have is Dyneema fabric. It's waterproof. I was using it to hold, my earbuds, my I carry gum with me, chapstick. I would put my gas receipts in there. Other like little random things. I put my sunglasses on, which I'm going to talk about here in a second. Water bottle, lots of different things. And I find now that I will just grab it when I'm going out through town too. It started off also some of the shorts that I'd brought are like some of my tennis shorts because I was just hiking or walking around town. But two of them have like holes in the pockets, so like my phone or my keys would just like fall out. So I was like, oh, I still need a pocket. Like I still have stuff that I carry, and the Red Paw pack came in super clutch. Matt from Red Paw Pack, your gear is awesome. At least this one piece of gear. So definitely check out Red Paw Pack. Talked about the turtle bug. Another game changer for me. I got a pair of Fuse sunglasses right before I left as well. I was hoping to having them in Denmark, but things didn't go through. But I did get them for this trip. They are my first set of prescription sunglasses that I've ever bought, because I am blind as a bat, and my glasses alone are stupid expensive. So to pony up for another pair of prescription sunglasses was never really in the cards. Really got a great deal from Fuse sunglasses. I wore them every day. Wore them driving, and my eyes didn't get tired because, again, I have crazy astigmatism too, so have a lot of that sensitivity. And yeah, like they stayed on my face when I was riding my bike, when I was hiking and I was sweating. They stayed in place. They were a real game changer. All three of these pieces of gear that were new to me this trip, they were really game changer experiences for me. So shout out to Red Paw, Yobo, obviously good friends of the podcast, as well as Fuse Lenses, right out of Clearwater, Florida. Also great supporters of HangCon. Yeah, so yeah, I could go on and on, but about some other things, but yeah, we're at over an hour, and I promised you that I would keep it short. So that was our,
we have that promise every weekend or every episode, not every
True.
weekend, every episode. But
yeah, like it was a really great trip. We didn't stop at any park that I would say, hey, skip this place, is a dump. Because if there was, I'd tell you. But yeah, it was a good trip. And I thoroughly enjoyed ending it in a hang with seeing really family.
Right.
Yeah, getting back.
I was gonna try and make it up there, but with my back and everying, and I just had that procedure done and everything else, and so just kind of relaxing right now.
Yeah. So definitely keep in touch with us, guys. Make sure that you're following us on Facebook and Instagram, as well as being subscribed to our podcast and your podcast streaming application that you use, because y'all, we got some crazy big news to kind of release. We have opened up registration for HangCon. Tickets are live. Make sure that you go in there. Tickets are running a little bit different this year. We have a VIP ticket that allows you entrance on Thursday, and our general admission starts with entrance on Friday all the way through Monday. Still same weekend, MLK. Still you're camping. All of your meals or dinners and breakfasts included. We will have lunch available for purchase. All classes, all talks, and all the great fun times that we have are still included. It's just a matter of when you want to get there. We do have some RV sites that are limited. So if an RV site is a must-have, make sure you get in there early and snag those up. They will sell out. So make sure you get that taken if that's something that is on your agenda.
I know you made the post on the HangCon Facebook site. Did you share that or make the same post on the podcast page also?
But I can make sure that I go and do that.
Yeah, make sure you do that just in case somebody's listening to us on here and don't follow us on Facebook, or on the HangCon Facebook as well, which you should be. We have many pages.
Yeah, I know. So HangCon is coming up, but guys, we have some really big news to talk about in the next coming episode. We have our 100th episode coming up, and just 2 more episodes. We're going to be trying to do that in a Facebook Live or YouTube Live. We're going to try to do a live.
We're going to be live. Yeah.
We're going to be doing
I think I can stream it to a couple of different platforms. So it might be YouTube and like Facebook. That is the plan. I know as of right now, which I still got to reach out to them again just to double confirm. Again, I've already confirmed once, but I will confirm again. But I know Derek from Haven should be joining us. That's the plan anyhow. And we're going to be doing some giveaways, and I think he's wanting to participate in that giveaway as well. I'm going to try and talk to a couple of our vendors also, see if they want to be a part of that, and see if we can't have a real good first live. Yeah. We might, you and I haven't really talked about it yet, but we might be able to throw in a few things.
Absolutely.
As well. So,
absolutely. So, we're going to wrap this up, and thanks for hanging out with us this week. Again, if you like what you've heard, please give us a positive review on your podcasting platform. Those reviews really help make offerings to the algorithm that really broadcasts our podcast to the greater World Wide Web. So we really appreciate that. If you've already bought tickets for HangCon or you bought raffle tickets, I would sincerely thank you. We really appreciate the community's drive. We might even be doing some giveaways for people that have purchased raffle tickets in the next coming episodes. So, if you want a chance to kind of get in with those giveaways, make sure that you're grabbing up those raffle tickets, because we'll be releasing some prizes randomly to some of those people as well to kind of drive up some interest. And if you're not already, follow us on our Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And until next time, happy hanging, everybody.
As we gently sway out of another hammock-filled episode, we want to thank you, our wonderful listeners, for hanging out with us on the Hammock Hangers Podcast. We hope that you have found relaxation, inspiration, and a renewed sense of connection to nature through our discussions. Remember to keep that hammock spirit alive in your daily life, whether it's by taking a few moments to unwind in your own backyard oasis or by planning your next hammock adventure in the great outdoors. Embracing the tranquility, embracing the simplicity, and never forget the joy that comes from simply hanging around. Before we part ways, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay up to date with all things hammock related. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for the Hammock Hangers Podcast. Your support means the world to us, and we can't wait to hang with you again on our next episode. Until then, stay relaxed, stay adventurous, and keep on hanging those hammocks high. From all of us here at the Hammock Hangers Podcast, we wish you peaceful hangs and endless relaxation. Thank you for tuning in. Happy hanging, everyone.